Hi everyone, thank you for tuning in. Today we are going to be working with statistics, and it's super fun, and I think you're going to really like it. So, these notes have been posted in Google Classroom. I'm just going to go over them with you, and then you'll work an example problem in your own copy of this document. So, let's just start with the basics. We hear the word statistics, and I think we have a good idea in our minds of what that means, but maybe defining it is a little trickier. But a statistic is simply a numerical fact or calculation based upon a set of data. So there are really two categories of data that we could look at: single variable and two variable data. Single variable data is just looking at one piece of information, like how far away do you live from the school? How many pets do you have? How many hours did you spend today on remote learning? That is just taking one piece of information and taking a look at it. Oftentimes, we do look at two variables. So, for example, your age versus the number of text messages sent per day. Or it could be how old you are and how many hours you're spending doing remote learning. It could be comparing any set of two sets of data, and you're going to compare those two sets. So this section, we're going to be working on single variable data. We're just going to look at one set of data. So there's two different types of data. There is numerical and categorical. Numerical data has a numeric meaning, like the temperature would be 1, your age, your SAT score, anything that has a numeric value and meaning. Categorical data could be like your gender, it could be your eye color, it could even actually be a number. So for example, if I said, what's your favorite number? That's actually categorical data because that number doesn't really mean actually 7 of something. So categorical data or qualitative data is something like your eye color. Numerical data is something with a number, and it's also called quantitative data. Maybe I'll just type that right in there. I don't know why it doesn't have that. Quantitative data has a numeric meaning. So like your height would be a quantitative. So we can use a box plot to represent single variable data. So we have our box plot right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to type that into our calculator. So this is the video for the TI-84. So if everybody could get your calculator, we're going to add this data right up here into our calculator. So I'm just jotting it down real quick, 3643. Okay, so what you're going to do, let's go to our calculator. And I'm going to go to Stat. So I hit the Stat button, Edit, and then I hit Enter. If you have data in there, you just arrow up and hit Clear Enter, and it'll clear out the column. So if you have data, you can clear it out. So let me type our data in. So we have 2, 7, 9, 12. I hope you're working this along with me because it will help you remember it. 14, 22, 32, 36, and 43. Okay, let me just check real quick and see if I did that right. 2, 7, 9, 12, 14, 22, 32, 36, 43. That looks pretty good. Okay, so what I want to do with my numerical data is I want to take a look and do some analysis with that. So I'm going to go to Stat, Calc, arrow right, and we are using one variable, statistics. We're only taking a look at one set of data. So I'm going to hit Enter, 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 Enter. And I've got a whole list of numeric values. So let me go back to our notes, and we're going to talk through this. So the median is the middle number. I'm sure you probably remember that. The average is if we add all these up and divide by, I think we have 9 values. We'd add those up, divide by 9. The lower half of the data is the first quartile. The minimum is the lowest number. The maximum is the highest. The third quartile is the median of the upper half of the data. So this actually makes a 5-number summary. The minimum, Quartile 1 is the median of the lower half, the median, the middle. Quartile 3 is the median of the third, and then our maximum. And our maximum here would be 43. So we could draw that by hand, and we can also use our calculator. So let me show you how to get that data from your calculator. So that was stat, calc, one variable statistics. This X with the bar over it, and it's actually called X bar, this here is the average. So the average is equal to 19.67. The sum is if we added all those values up. This right here is standard deviation. We're going to talk about that later on in this unit. This is standard deviation of a population. This is standard deviation of a sample. We'll learn more about that later. And there were 9 entries. Now here's our 5-number summary if I arrow down. Our minimum is 2. Our quartile 1 is 8. Our median is 14. Quartile 3 is 34. And our maximum is 43. And we can get those from our calculator without having to line all the numbers up and do that. So the calculator makes this much more efficient. So let me go and let's type that in. Our minimum was a 2. Our quartile 1 was an 8. Oh, this got switched. Let me move that down. Quartile 1 was an 8. Our median is a 14. Our quartile 3 is a 34. And our maximum was a 43. These 5 numbers right here, highlight those. These 5 numbers right here are called the 5-number summary. This is what it looks like as a list. Here's a drawing representing that. The bottom here, oftentimes it's a dot, is your minimum. You have a dot at the maximum. You make 3 bars, quartile 1, a bar at the median, and a bar at quartile 3, and then you turn that into a box or a rectangle or a square depending on the shape. Okay, so this is how to make a box plot. Let me show you how to do that with your calculator. So going back to your calculator, we're going to go to second, y equals, and we need to turn our stat plot on. So I'm going to hit enter, plot on. We have to put our stat plot on. And then we want to go over here to make our box plot. This is a box plot that does not include outliers. This is a box plot that includes outliers. So this is called a modified box plot. We're just going to use the regular box plot. Okay, and our data is in L1. So once I turn my stat plot on, once I select a box plot, then I'm going to go to zoom 9. And there is the box plot. And what's really nice is you can trace. So I hit the trace button and it points out that 5-number summary. The minimum on the left is 2. My quartile 1's 8. My median is 14. My quartile 3 is 34. And my maximum is 43. So that's going to do it for our very first video. This was just how to do a 5-number summary in a box plot. Tune into the next video, which will show us how to make a histogram and how to make a box plot and histogram combination. Okay, thanks for watching.